We are live.
Thank you. Good evening to everyone. And I'm Councilman Carroll. I'd like to invite everyone and thank you for coming today for the City of Kenner, April 23rd, 2021 council meeting. We have the privilege and honor to lead us in prayer today, Pastor Dave Madden of Church of the King, who are new to our community. So we would like to welcome Pastor Dave here today. And you have to say a few words before we go into our prayer. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gregory. It's an honor to be here, and it's an honor to be in the city of Kenner. And thank you for allowing me to be a part of this and to lead us in prayer. So I'll go ahead and pray if that's okay as we kick off our meeting. Father, we are so thankful. Your word says this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And so we just rejoice in the day, God. And we just thank you for every man, every woman that has dedicated so much time and energy to serving the great city of Kenner. I pray you would bless them. Pray you would fill them with peace, strengthen them, give them health. We pray for our city, God. We pray you would continue to protect the people of our city, God. We pray for blessing. We pray for healing and health. Lord, we pray that the economics would continue to move forward, that you would bless our city financially and in every way. I pray for the challenges that we face, even the greatest challenges, that you would give our leaders supernatural wisdom. You said, if anybody lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously. And so we just thank you for your abundant wisdom as we meet today. We love you and honor you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor, for those fantastic words. Appreciate it. Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir. You have a quorum.
Hey, excuse me, Council President, we have some.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Michael. Mayor Zahn, you can go first.
Thank you, Council Chairman. We have lost a very well-known Hispanic social media, radio, and TV personality, community volunteer, and always cared for the less fortunate, Mr. George Vidas. Very, very instrumental in the Hispanic community. We lost him this past week, and I was told by Mr. Rafael Sadi, our multi-diversity coordinator, to let us know that, and I appreciate being told that. It'll be a big loss to the Hispanic community and also to the city of Kenner. We also need to keep, this is a hard ask, but we need to do it, and I wish we didn't have to ask for this. Cheryl Gorman, the captain of ISIS, we want to keep her in our thoughts and prayers. She has been battling COVID. She is currently not doing the best, and her family is with her, that can be with her right now at the hospital, and we're praying for the best. We just saw her at the Easter candy giveaway. She brought all her ISIS ladies out there, did a great job giving away all kinds of gifts to the kids, and it's just been a good community leader, a friend of the city of Kenner, being the captain of ISIS, and also a good personal friend of mine. One of our DCEOs, Chad Pitfield, and some of you all, the council, keep her in your thoughts and prayers, and let's hope for the best, but things are not looking too good.
Thank you, Mayor. Councilman Segura.
Thank you, Council President. Recently, this week ago, we lost a retired sergeant with the Kenner Police, Phil Giello. So I want to keep his family in our prayers for all the service he gave the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman McKinney.
Thank you, Council President. I also want to, it's with great sadness that I want to let everyone know that Dion Gullig, who I had special intentions for prayers 2 meetings ago, she passed away on April 11th. Since she was a resident, or she had served for Kenner residents for 26 years. She was only in her mid 40s or her late 40s. We can pray for her family. And her paramedic family as well in Kenner. So they have, they've suffered a great loss. So just remember that, obviously COVID's a risk still. We need to be diligent. We also need to make sure that we're doing the things that keep us safe. So.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Brannigan.
Yes, I'm going to ask you to please pray for my sister, my brother-in-law, and my nephew. last night at 10:30, their house caught on fire in North Arkansas. And we're lucky in Kenner to have the response that we have. It took 20 minutes to get the volunteer fire department there. And it took another 20 minutes to get the water to try and fight the fire. All they have is rubble left. They lost everything last night. So I would appreciate if y'all would say some prayers for my family.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Councilman. Councilman Wilmot, did you say you had some special intentions? Or anybody else?
No, sir. Thank you.
You do or you don't? You don't? Okay. Anyone else? Okay. So for the pledge of allegiance of the flag, Councilman Brannigan, would you lead us in the pledge of allegiance?
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. You have a quorum this morning. Do we have any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor? Seeing none, under the consent agenda, we have item 1, approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of April 8th, 2021. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 2223-20, Patriot Nations Men's Club, to hold a public gathering on May 1st, 2021, from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. for the purpose of a crawfish cook-off at Rivertown Park in Rivertown, Kenner, Louisiana. Item 3B is application number 2229-21, F&C Montero, to hold a public gathering on May 5th, 2021, from 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. for the purpose of a Cinco de Mayo at 3229 Williams Boulevard in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 4 is correspondence, reports from the mayor, CAO, or department heads. Item 4A, at the request of the administration, a report from Mayor Zahn.
Mayor Zahn, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Council Chairman. With the help of your office this past week, or past 2 weeks, April 14th and April 21st, we did some code sweeps in District 1, 2,600 to 2,700 blocks of Helena and Dawson. We found 16 warning violations. A total of vehicles on jacks, I think I need to say this, is 20. So that's something that we have to do a better job of out there in District 1 that we are working with the men and ladies of the Kenner Code Department. We also, on April 21st in your district, did 2,600 to 2,700 blocks of Tifton and Augusta, and we found vehicles on jacks there, 19, and 11 warning violations. So we have some work to do there, obviously with some of the vehicles, because I was with some of the residents of District 1 this past week, and we heard some of those things again. So I want to thank you for your help with your office and, trying to remedy the situation out there. A few things, not too long today. Millage renewal vote tomorrow, fire, garbage, and sewage. Please remember to go out and vote. Extremely important for the city of Kenner that you go out and vote on those issues. I want to talk about Building B being open on Monday. Of course, we have had parts of City Hall open throughout this pandemic. Services were never ceased, but we're going to start opening buildings, and we're going to start with safety protocols with code on the first floor. I think it's important that we get our code department where people can actually go in, open back up as much as we can with safety protocols, with security. The mayor's office will now be working on the same floor, parts of the mayor's office, with IT. I have a problem on the 4th floor of Building C, which has caused me to have to start moving IT to my floor. Look, we have to do what we have to do, but that's going to have to, because I got to move that there, I have to take some of my mayor's office and move it to a smaller meeting room at the Pontchartrain Center. The council floor, as I had told you, Council Chairman, I think during the week or maybe week before, and I had a discussion with a few of the council members that, if y'all want to put your secretaries, your assistants back in a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, that's fine. Again, I'll say it right now, the council floor will be open as it's continued to be open. And I guess the last major thing that I need to discuss at this point is something that you, Council Chairman, will understand. And I appreciate your support. I understand from my Deputy CEO, Tom Schreiner, you support this. The old Kenner High School, we have engineering reports addressing the imminent danger of collapse, as you know that. Twice before, we have stopped the demolition company at the urging of individuals saying they have a plan, they have funding, and they have a buyer. I'm still waiting. None of that has ever happened. We have promised the citizens of South Kenner we will demolish it. I would appreciate the council's support, and I've had discussions with some of you all on this issue. Support myself and Council Chairman, and I'll let the Council Chairman speak for himself, but support us, the District 1 representative, and also my office, the administration, on what we want to do. I would hope that the council would not try to interfere with a resolution because there's some people saying that we have something else we can do with it. Believe me, this is something we need to do. It's dangerous and we need to move forward. If the council does offer a resolution today or in the future, I mean, I would only request the council, and I think Council Chairman, you would agree with me, a roll call vote on that, because I would want the people of District 1, South Kenner, Old Kenner Civic Association to know that you and I agree on this. You and I agree that we should move forward. And if anybody opposes that, let it be on the public record. Mr. Earl Smith, I have worked very closely with this with. He hears what we're saying. His civic association hears what we're saying. I've had discussions with them in person just this past week, and they were very ecstatic about the demo becoming a reality. So your support is appreciated, Council Chairman. The support of the council will be appreciated on this matter. And I look forward to putting a major project, which I'd like to talk to you about first, Council Chairman, before we actually say it publicly, on what we can do with that property. I think you know a little bit about what we want to do with that property with Councilman Byron Lee's office to have a major project there. So all about economic development. If someone wanted to purchase that building, I would have loved to have seen that in the past, but I cannot put the safety and welfare of the District 1 residents and anybody in the city of Kenner, but the District 1 residents have to face that every day. I'm not going to put economic development before the safety and welfare of my constituents or your constituents, Councilman.
Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you, Mayor. So I'll just like to talk about the second thing you mentioned about the council office as far as it relates to the third floor. There are some ladies along with the council who are back now full-time, but let me say that by May 1st, it is my understanding that everyone will be back. That being said, there is nothing that can't be done because all of the ladies support one another. So if you come in and you have to come in and speak to someone about something, please feel free to come in. The council clerk, Ms. Nat, Ms. T, all the other ladies support. So that won't stop. But as far as bodies physically being here, May 1st is the date that we would definitely have the full complement of everyone. Secondly, as the mayor alluded to about Kenner Junior High, I think you're being kind, Mayor, when you say about 2 times, because as someone who live in that area, it's been more than 2 times, more than 5 times about different things. As a resident there, someone who lived there every day, that has to pass there every day, have to look at it every day, have to hear the comments from the people who live in the district every day. It is far past time. And we have, in my opinion, given opportunities for people to be able to do something with it. But it always seemed as if, and these are my words, that what we're going to do with the building is never the main subject to do with the overall eyesore that it is. This time it may be the same thing, but I have no confidence because part of it is wanting to save the facade more as opposed to doing something with the building. So to me and to the people like me that live there, it seemed as if this is just another delayed tactic. And it has been long enough for us. I'm sure before we get this going, we're going to have to set something up to a scheduled time and all that. Maybe then, I don't know. But all I'm saying is right now, today, there's nothing that I see that much positive that could happen there other than more conversations about doing something. And it's time to move forward, and hopefully everyone can support that. Because if you don't live there, maybe it's not that big of a deal. But if you live there around the corner like I do and everyone else, it is a big deal. So I support this, and I ask that my fellow councilmen support it if they can. If they can't, then that's, I understand. But it is time to move forward with that property. Thank you.
Yep.
Gregory, I just want to let you know, I agree with you. Even though I attended that school, it's way down past its age and time and looks to be put down and build something to help out your district as well as the rest of the city. So I agree with you. I'm all for you.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, Madam Clerk.
Mr. President,
Councilman Wilmot, you have the floor.
thank you. I just wanted to ask a couple of questions just for clarification for myself and for the public. And I was curious to know roughly how long has this been, and I know the general answer, but I'd still like to hear it from administration. How long has it been since we've had the problem with Kenner High School? I mean, how long has it been on the plate?
Day after the fire. What was the date of the fire?
Well, it probably goes back further than that, because how long has it been abandoned?
Yeah.
It's two. I mean, Greg, you want to, because it's two different answers.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had the problem since it burned the way it is currently, but being abandoned, it's been abandoned for what? You've dealt with this longer than me, Greg.
Exactly. It is two different, if you want to look at the calendar, it's two different dates. One, obviously the fire that was well, publicized for the young men that was involved in that, and there was a fire. But many years before that, there was a shell of a building. It had grass growing around. Part of the problem with the Public Works Department, because it was deemed safety, they couldn't get in there and do anything from a standpoint of cleaning up. So now people can't get in there because it's a safety issue. It looks like a safety issue. In my opinion, I'm no engineer. It is a safety issue. So it's two different dates. It's the fire date. I don't know what that date is. And it's as long as it's been there in that current condition, which is well over 5 years, That's my only time frame, Councilman Wilman, I can give you without researching specific dates.
And one other question, as far as the brick facade that people keep talking about, what type of condition is it in today?
Again, in my opinion, I'm no engineer. I've only spoken to some people, and maybe a year ago. I mean, from a position of the facade, if you want to use that, it is less than a facade. It is barely holding on. I believe a strong enough storm coming on, it's going to blow it down. That's just my position.
It could collapse.
The bricks are in themselves. Can they be gathered and used for something else? Probably so. But as a structure right now, if a strong enough wind comes by, it will be blown down, and hopefully not on anyone who may find refuge there, because that happens sometimes. People who are homeless, they're in there. That could happen.
Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
No problem.
Anyone else? Thank you. Madam Clerk? That you're muted.
I'm sorry. That concludes the consent agenda. If I could get a motion in a second.
Yes, motion by Councilmember McKinney, second by Councilmember Wilmot to approve. Council, please vote.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
I apologize. Yes.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda, we have item 9, public hearings for final passage. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 12,816, an ordinance levying the annual tax millage rates for the year 2021, totaling 1,700 mills on the dollar of the assessed valuation of all taxable property within the corporate limits of the city of Kenner, Louisiana, on the 2021 tax roll.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilman Wilmot to open the public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0 to open your hearing.
Mr. Campo?
I don't see any members of the public with their hands up.
Thank you, sir. Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilman Wilmot to close the public hearing. Council members, please vote.
Councilman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilman Wilmot to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is a reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. We have none. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 12,821, an ordinance authorizing the use of Louisiana state contract number 4400018761 with Vehicle Parts and Equipment Company to provide light bars and sirens in an amount not to exceed $30,000.
Motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilman Brennan to approve. Councilman, please vote.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 12,822. An ordinance ratifying an emergency purchase to remove and install new diesel driver and fire pump along with replacing single wall fuel tank and damaged 4-inch dry valve at the Punch Train Convention and Civic Center in the amount of $134,000 by Louisiana Fire Extinguisher Incorporated for the city of Kenner.
Motion by Councilman Wilmot, second by Councilman Brannigan to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 12,823. An ordinance approving amendment number 2 to the agreement with Pure Technologies US Incorporated regarding the condition assessment of the Chateau Transfer Station force main to increase the not to exceed amount of the agreement by $482,400 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by Councilwoman McKinney. Hold on a second. Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted some clarification if Director, I see Tom Schreiner is here. If you can just clarify it for us.
Director Snyder.
Yeah, Councilman, this is an assessment of the existing force main that connects this station to the treatment plant. It's approximately 16,000 feet long. What this will do is it'll give us a true understanding of the condition of this pipe. As you may know, is a project in progress now to construct a brand new force main from that station to the plant. If following this assessment, we can determine that the existing force main is salvageable, we will elect to just repair the force main instead of constructing a new one. This could free up about $12 million, and we could repurpose that money to do other things in the wastewater system.
And that's the type of stuff I like to hear. And of course, it does say it's an increase of the 482,000. So, in your opinion, this is a necessary purchase, correct?
Yes, sir. I think this is what you should be doing with your asset management. You should be definitely making these types of assessments prior to embarking on a $12 million project.
Perfect. Thank you for that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Director. Anyone else? If not, motion by Councilmember Brannigan, second by Councilwoman McKinney. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura.
Is going in.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 12,824. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from DXP Enterprises doing business as Delta Process Equipment for an agreement to provide self-priming sewer pumps and related materials on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid number 20-6579 and an amount not to exceed $150,000 per year for a period of 2 years for the Department of Wastewater.
Any comments? I don't see any hand. Councilman Wilmot, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, if we could get our motion on the floor.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilmember Wilmot.
Thank you.
Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just had a question as far as it being 150,000 for a period of 2 years. Procedurally, I presume that it's not coming back to us next year, that this is a one-time vote. We're taking that now. It's 150,000 this year and 150,000 next year. Is that correct procedurally?
Yes, Councilman, that's correct.
Okay. I just noted that it's for 2 years, so not for one. So for the record, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilmember Wilmot to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brannigan, Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 12,825. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from DXP Enterprises doing business as Delta Process Equipment for an agreement to provide submersible chopper sewer pumps and related materials on an as-needed basis in accordance with seal bid number 20-6580 and an amount not to exceed $100,000 per year for a period of 2 years for the Department of Wastewater.
Motion by Councilman Hayes, second by Councilmember Brannigan. Any comments? To approve. Councilman Wilmot. Councilman Wilmot, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, I just want to reiterate that this is for a period of 2 years. We're voting on it this one time, and I presume it will not come back to us again next time. But again, it's for pump purposes. It's an important project. Is that correct, Mr. Schreiner?
Yes, Councilman, that's correct. It's almost identical to the previous one. It's just a different type of pump.
Okay, real good. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Motion by Councilmember Hayes, second by Councilmember Brannigan to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is summary ordinance number 12,826. An ordinance authorizing the utilization of Bossier City bid number S03-21 with Covington Sales and Service Incorporated for the purchase of one new asphalt patching trailer in the amount not to exceed $54,500.
Motion by Councilmember Segura, second by Councilmember Brennan.
Council President, I think we wanted to have Chad Pitfield explain what we need this for.
As
We
soon
did.
as,
I didn't see your hand, Mike. You're not on my front, so I can only get so many people, so I need a light or something. But Councilman Segura, you have the floor.
thank you. And yeah, Councilman Brannigan's correct. As motioning this, I was going to introduce, have Chad give us an explanation of what this was for.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Pitfield.
Yes, sir. Thank you. So this is going to update and replace a very old piece of equipment that we have, which is a much smaller capacity for us to go out and address some of these potholes and minor street repairs that occur on asphalt asphalt streets. So this will be to address those issues on the asphalt, so we could try to stay ahead of these things before they get to before they progress much worse down the line.
Thank
And
you.
Chad, it's a hot mix. You talked about that.
Yes, sir.
That will seal the holes better than a cold mix.
Right.
Chad's audio.
You know, what we currently have is what you sometimes see traveling down the street. Can you hear me now?
I don't know if it's just me, but I know your audio is going in and
Can you hear me better?
Yeah, audio is going in and out.
What
Chad.
about now?
Chad,
Yeah.
if you turn your video off, it'll let your audio run better.
All right. Can y'all hear me now?
Better.
Go ahead, Mr. Pitfield. Let's try it and see.
So what we currently have is what you traditionally see traveling down the street is a little trailer with some boiling tar coming out of it. So this is a much safer, newer technology. It's a triple wall burner that will heat the tar and the asphalt mix in it for them to fill those portions of, like, again, the asphalt streets and the potholes.
Thank you. And Mr. Pitfield, I'm going to take the liberty to say that probably District 1 has more asphalt than the other districts. I'm pretty sure about that. So if you and I can talk later, or we can talk about, if you can give me the dimensions of how much this machine can actually do, because obviously sometimes we have to go out to larger companies. But if I get a feel for what are the dimensions that this machine can support, or whatever machines we have can support, I would appreciate that.
Yeah, so look, just to give you an idea, this machine has a 4-ton hopper. It can hold 4 tons of material in it, whereas the one before is I think it's less than a ton.
Okay.
We're gonna increase our capacity, which allows us to be out and handle this stuff on a larger capacity.
Thank you. Great purchase.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilmember Brennan to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes,
Councilman Brennan.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinance and summary and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance amending Kenner Code of Ordinances, Chapter 15, Section 56 of the Kenner Code of Ordinances to amend no parking zone on the north side of the Sequoia Street. Item 16B is an ordinance approving a cooperative endeavor agreement for improvements to the City of Kenner's wastewater system with the Louisiana Department of Treasury and the State of Louisiana in an amount not to exceed $250,000. Item 16C is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from New Light Electrical Wholesalers Incorporated to supply streetlight poles and accessories in accordance with seal bid number 21-6593 and an amount not to exceed $150,000 annually for the Department of Public Works. Item 16D is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received for wastewater treatment plant aeration basin gate replacement in accordance with bid number 21-1978. Item 16E is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received for the Sylvania Sewer Lift Station improvements in accordance with bid number 21-1977. Item 16F is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a TI Training Corporation Complete Training Simulation Lab System upgrade, including hardware, software, warranty, and associated accessories for the Kenner Police Department in the amount of $17,500. Item 17 is reports from the council and our special committees.
So Madam Clerk, this is where we're getting ready to vote for executive session, right?
No,
Nope.
sir. That would
Okay.
be item 18. 17
Okay.
is anything that the council members may have to report on.
Okay, so new business, Councilman Segura, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. As you can see behind me, I have a different banner up today, recognizing the month also as National Child Abuse Prevention Month. As I did at the beginning of the month, we had a banner relative to National Autism Month. So both of those do kind of go hand in hand, and I do want to recognize the effort by both all the organizations in putting out the educational information on autism and child abuse programs. Another, as sometimes we get multiple things in one month, yesterday was National Earth Day, so I couldn't put a banner up with at the same time, so I got a green shirt on just to draw attention to our need to keep our earth healthy and do everything we can to keep it growing so we can continue living here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Segura. Councilman Wilmot, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I want to thank the administration and the mayor for getting us building B. We're kind of getting back in the building and things are looking good. And apparently from his comments earlier, it looks like some of the other buildings may be opening partially. But I wanted to see also if we have any status on building A, City Hall itself, as far as the mold remediation. Can we get an update on that, please?
Yes.
May I?
Deborah's got it, Council Chairman.
Ms. Fauché.
Yes, sir. So building A, we reported last time that we had adverse findings on the environmental assessment. We pulled all of our people, both our in-house folks and the contractor, out of the building, ordered the proper PPE for that specific risk. That PPE arrived this past Wednesday. They are back in the building today doing the continued demolition. It is anticipated it'll take 5 to 7 work days. So that's two calendar weeks to complete it. At that point, assuming, and this is renovation. We've all done renovation. You pull out a wall, there's something else crazy behind it. But we're assuming if the only things to be removed are the damaged parts that we can see, then within 2 weeks we should be done. We will have a reassessment by the environmental group, and if it is clean and ready to roll, then we're going to start putting it back together.
And the roof itself is repaired?
The roof is patched. At some point in the future, we are going to need to replace the roof, and that's where the architect comes in. It has a very distinctive and, to my taste, lovely architectural design to it. But the uniqueness of that architectural design also lends it to more challenges in keeping the water outside. So some discussion about whether to alter the pitch of the roof or simply to replace the roof in its current configuration will be had. Architects will come in as soon as it's clear to go in, bringing an architectural group in just to look at what's there, talk about how to put it back together, and putting it back together in a way that is more likely to prevent leaks or less likely to have us miss a leak. So that input, we will have that input, I would say, within the month, and then we will report that information back to you.
Thank you for the update.
You're
That's
welcome.
all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fauché. Anyone else? If not, I have one thing, and thank for Michael for reminding me. I have my little armband. This is National Crime Victims Week. Also, they're sharing the color purple. So it will be this week and next week. So obviously we want to be able to pray, support all victims of crime, police officers, family members, everyone that is affected by crime. So thank you. Anyone else? I do not see any hands. So Madam Clerk, I want to say something before we go into 18A.
Okay, sir.
Thank you. So I want to be able to share with everyone prior to the meeting getting started. And I mean like 5 minutes or 10 minutes prior to the meeting getting started. There was a request by one of the council persons to me that they had received a request about moving comment section above our executive session. I'm going to say I am the council president. I never received a request from anyone prior to that. Like we always do with having to submit something in a proper time frame for the council meetings, it should apply for that. I am uncomfortable, and I've been on the council longer than anyone else. That has never happened, what was requested. Can it happen in the future? Maybe it can, but I think it would be inappropriate to do it now 5 minutes before without me getting a call or no one sharing that with me. So that being said, we're going to follow suit the way we normally do. We will have a discussion after this to see if that's something we can do. So I hope everyone can appreciate that. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Item 18 is new business. Item 18A, at the request of the legal department, an executive session to discuss legal matters concerning the following litigation cases. Tracy Fernandez versus the City of Kenner et al., 24th Judicial District Court, case number 806-546, and Geraldine Noel versus Matthew Glapion and the City of Kenner, 24th Judicial District Court, case number 777-813.
Motion by Councilman.
Madam Clerk,
Attorney.
the legal department's going to ask to withdraw the request for the Geraldine Noel case. That's a case that involves the Kenner Police Department, and the chief is not here today.
Okay, so Mr. Chairman, if I could get a motion and a second to remove that case from the agenda, and then we will move on to your motion and your second to approve to go into executive session.
Madam Clerk, for the record, can you just repeat the only one we're going to be doing for 18A, please, again, for everybody's clarity?
Yes, sir. So we are going into executive session to discuss Tracy Fernandez versus the City of Kenner et al., 24th Judicial District Court, case number 806-546. And we will be removing the case of Geraldine Noel versus Matthew Glapion and the City of Kenner, 24th Judicial District Court, case number 777-813. So if I could get a motion to remove that case.
I'll motion.
Motion by Council Member Segura, second by Council Member Wilmot to remove. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Now, Mr. Chairman, we will be voting on this matter as amended, removing that case.
Motion by Councilwoman McKinney, second by Council Member Wilmot. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0 on item 18A as amended. Item 18B is at the request of Mayor Zahn, an executive session to discuss legal matters concerning the threatened litigation from the Truitt Law Firm concerning Michael Wetzel Jr. versus the City of Kenner et al.
Motion by Council Member Segura, second by Council Member Hayes. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0.
Mr. Campo, will you move us, sir? Once we're ready?
Yes, sir. When y'all are ready, just let us know and Mike Claus will move us over.
Okay, everyone's ready?
Ready.
Thank y'all. We're ready, Mr. Campo.
All right, Mike, you can move us over. We are back. Just make sure you unmute your microphones, council members and administration. It automatically mutes them when it brings you back into the room.
Get you back up there, Matt. There you go.
All right, Councilman Carroll, once everybody's back, you're going to need a motion to come out of executive session. Or come back into session.
And yeah, I need a motion and a second to reconvene.
Greg, you're still muted. Greg, you're muted. Greg, you're muted. Greg, you're muted.
I've sent him a prompt to unmute.
Okay, the screen was gone. Sorry about that. Okay. Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilwoman McKinney to reconvene. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 19 is unfinished business and no motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Mr. Campo, do we have anyone?
We do. Mr. Al Morello is up first.
Mr. Morella, you have the floor.
Al Morello, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 39 years. Numbers on the coronavirus as of 4/20. Total test 6,825,266. Positive cases 386,105. Negative cases 6,439,161. Recoveries 453,711. Now I want to talk about the issues we're having down there at City Hall with involving 3 of our departments since January. Now, looking at this, we either not following our policy, even if we have. I doubt that even if we have a policy, as far as vetting these people that we are appointing as directors to these departments. Now, this is sad for the city of Kenner that we constantly in the news and involving 3 different departments. So something has to be done. We don't have a policy. I suggest we get one and start appointing these people based on what they know instead of who they know. Because I actually believe this is the problem. Now, I want to say this. I agree with Councilman Carroll before y'all went into executive session. There's a lack of communication, a serious lack of communication, it looks like, down at City Hall. Now, he's the council chairman. Any attempt to take an item out of order, he should have been notified. He's the one who chairs the council meeting. So I agree with his comments and what he had to say. Now, I want to direct this to the mayor. I haven't heard anything yet, and my post is wondering if there's going to be any kind of ceremony or what the plans are for Memorial Day.
30 seconds, Mr. Morella.
What's that?
30 seconds. Mayor Zahn, did you hear the question?
Plenty time, plus time. So anyway, that's about all I have at the moment. But one more thing. I'd like to Doug Dote to give us an update on how many cases in Kenner out of 42,869 in the parish.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor, you have an answer
Yes.
for Mr. Morella? Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
we are in talks with about that right now with Miss Mary Sharon. We will be determining, we'll do something. We're going to do something. We're probably not going to do what you've seen last year, but we're not going to do what we've done before last year. So, Ms. Morella, I will be glad to include you in the ceremony so that you will be able to be there, but I don't think we're going to open up to the general public. I don't think we are. We'll probably do something where we have to recognize, of course, and maybe include not maybe, we will include you in the ceremony so you will be present. But we'll get back to you. Be waiting for a call from Miss Mary Sharon Holland within the next week to set up something with you. Okay?
Thank you, Mayor. I think, Mr. Dote, are you here for one? And do you have a response for Mr. Morella?
I believe Mr. Dote is out today, or at least out this afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Campo, next.
Richard Brown.
Mr. Brown, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had to unmute. Three points I wanted to make. First off, I want to thank my Councilman George Brannigan, for the new subdivision sign for Chateau Terre, Holly Heights, and Westwood. It's a beautiful sign. Job well done. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. It's a big improvement. Second comment was regarding the executive session. And I am really offended that the council was not willing to change the order of business to let the public speak first on matters, other matters before the council, before going into the executive session. Instead, you made us wait here for 1 hour and 14 minutes while you were in executive session. I did text 4 council members this morning before the meeting. Councilman Carroll, you were one of them. I texted you at 10:44 a.m. I actually thought of this yesterday and intended to do it last night, but I was in a 5-hour Zoom meeting last night and didn't do it, and then forgot about it this morning. But and I think it was Councilman McKinney who made the request that you change the order of business. I appreciate her making that request. She was one of the 4 who I texted. You routinely do this when you have a public official who is going to be here. You change the order of business to take up the resolution thanking him or whatever so he can go on about his business. Yet you're not willing to do that for your own constituents, for the members of the public. You made us wait for 1 hour and 14 minutes when you could have let us speak first, then have your executive session, then when you come out of executive session, adjourn. And I hope in the future you will be more considerate and that the council would do that. Any council member could have made the motion, when the meeting convened. The last comment is, I need to look at something on my screen. I question whether the council is exceeding its authority with some of the business it conducts in these executive sessions, because based on the state law authorizing these emergency sessions and on the governor's proclamation and on the information from the attorney general and the legislative auditor, these electronic meetings are supposed to be limited to, quote, responses to the disaster or emergency, to matters that, if delayed, will cause a curtailment of public services.
30 seconds, Mr. Brown.
Thank you, sir. That if delayed will cause curtailment of vital public services or severe economic dislocation or hardship, and to matters that are critical to the continuation of the city's business and that are not able to be postponed due to legal requirements. And I really think that doing such things is, I'm not opposed to block party permits, but I think that approving block party permits is not something essential. Renaming public buildings and streets is not something that is essential. I think some of the things the council has been doing actually exceeds its authority under the emergency legislation and the governor's proclamations. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. And I just want to say that, thank you always for your comments. And as it relates to your text to me, I didn't receive the text until 10:45. So I'm not sure when you sent it, but I didn't receive it until 10:45, which is way too late to receive something. And as far as I know, I have never been part of an executive session where it happened before. Not that I'm against it, but I do believe that it is something that I should speak with the councilman about, and we will address that next time going forward. Thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor.
I think Councilman Brennan's before me, but I'll go after him.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council Chair. I'm kind of perplexed by that, and what I mean by Mr. Brown's comments, because he gets upset when we put things on a supplemental or we bring something up from the floor because there's not enough time. But to give us, I didn't get a text to ask this at 10:44, 10:45, whatever. It kind of contradicts prior comments. The other thing, I think that we couldn't have done it today, and I understand the executive session took a while, and I understand that the public had to wait, and I apologize for that. But if someone was trying to watch the meeting or make comments and said, the meeting usually runs this long and I'll come back, or I'll be able to take time and estimate when they may be able to speak. If we would have done that, they would have missed that opportunity. And I think we'd be getting beat up because someone didn't get an opportunity to address the council. So, Council Chair, I think it's a good thing if we consider that for future meetings. But again, I don't think asking that this morning and expecting it to be done would have been proper for all the people that would want to address the council. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Verzon.
I agree with Councilman Brennan. Look, I think by moving something at the last minute is, and I'll bluntly put it, is sneaky. And it appears to be sneaky, and I'm not going to be part of that. My first question would be, if you all would decide to do something like that, and you go into executive session, and some people, not everybody, is as current on the charter and other things as Mr. Brown is, and council rules. If y'all did that, some people may think the meeting's over with and leave. So when y'all come back, and I'm part of that, I come back with you all, members of the public. If you take action after executive session, something that was yielded from executive session, there's no public input on that. I think that's improper, and I'm going on the record right now. If this council chooses to start doing that, I'm not going to be part of those executive sessions that go after public input, because I think, again, you all are going to get yourselves in some issues, and I don't want to do that. And look, in an hour and 14 minutes, that's wonderful news. Coming out of Jefferson Parish, and Deborah and Ed will remember this. I remember one, most of them took at least 2 hours. I remember one that we actually had to send our assistants out to get us lunch because it lasted about 4.5 to 5 hours, if y'all remember that. So an hour and 14 minutes, yeah, we're guilty of doing the people's business.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. President, could I respond briefly?
1 minute, Mr. Brown, please do.
Sure. Responding to primarily to Councilman Brennan. By the way, Councilman Brennan, I tried to text you, but I've got a new cell phone. My old one died. I did not have your number. I actually tried to get your number before, at that time, or I would have texted you also. And I apologize for being late. I would like to have done it earlier. But changing the order of business is something you regularly do. I've never objected to that. That's not prohibited by the open meetings law. That's totally different from adding something to the agenda without notice. Nobody was asking you to add anything to the agenda, just to give the public a chance to speak before you go into executive session. As to, whether the council was going to take up an item that was discussed in executive session after the meeting. I don't think there was anything on the agenda for you to do, but if that was a separate agenda item, that could be addressed separately, but I do understand the mayor's concern there. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Mr. Campo, who's next?
I believe Councilman Brannigan has his hand raised.
Okay, Councilman Brannigan.
Yeah, in regards to Mr. Brown's comments about any one of us can change the order of the meeting, I was one of the people that got a text from him. I called Councilman Carroll because I really believe that the council president is running the meeting, in charge of these meetings when their term is going on, and it's their decision whether we change anything. I think that's the proper protocol. So You know, Gregory, I totally agree with the way you handled it today. And I think it was done proper.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Campo.
I believe Councilman Segura has his hand raised.
Okay, I can't. Councilman Segura, you have the floor.
On my screen, you're right next to me, so I'm trying to get your attention.
Okay.
Look, I've listening to all these comments about what's been done, what had been done, or how it could have been done. Just remember, and a change of order takes 4 council members, not 1 or not the president. It takes 4 council members to enact. So why he only reaches out to 4, he has to answer that. He could have reached out to all 7 of us and might have been different. Who knows? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Councilwoman McKinney.
Yes, and I'll just be really brief on this. I will say that I was the one who spoke with Councilman Carroll about it. I'm fine with it, what his decision was. And, you know, I was just recommending that in the interest of saving people time and letting the people know. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Is that it? I think so. Mr. Campo?
Miss Alessandra?
Ms. Stacy, you have the floor.
Thank you, Council President. Mayor, sneaky? Seriously? Sneaky? You want to go there with sneaky? Because we can talk about sneaky. That was uncalled for. What Mr. Brown was simply trying to say, well, first of all, let me address, because I know what happened this morning. Let me address Mr. I know for a fact I had to contact some other council members. He asked me if I had their cell phone numbers, and I didn't. So it wasn't just pick and choose, and it's because, at least for one person, he didn't have your contact information. But anyway, all he was simply trying to say is, when you guys go in executive session, the public doesn't know if it's going to be for 10 minutes or 10 hours. Sometimes, I think the last one might have been like 2 hours. There's no reason why you guys couldn't, prior to the executive session, let the public speak. And then when you come back from executive session, you can say if there was anybody who didn't get to speak before, which there probably wouldn't be anybody. And if there was, it would maybe take 3 minutes. But anyway, you could say we can reopen the public comment period in case there's anybody who didn't speak before executive session. That's just being considerate of the constituents. And like he said, y'all regularly do take the meeting out of order when it comes to an official. And yeah, I mean, it would take a vote of all 7 of y'all, but I mean, it's the logical thing to do, is to do that. So maybe you guys could consider for future meetings, when executive sessions come up, they're not that often, bearing in mind how long they can take, let the public speak before, and then at the end, it might take 3 more minutes if there's somebody else who wanted to speak. But anyway, that's you guys' decision. Y'all get to decide how the meeting is ran. I do want to say that the sign does look very nice in front of Holly Heights, Westwood, Chateau Terre. It's beautiful, so thank you for that. And then my last comment is just to ask, are you guys, Mr. Brennan, did you want to ask me a question? I can pause.
No, I'd like to comment at the end. Thank you.
Okay, if you're going to comment about something, I'm going to say I mean, this is the 3 minutes for the public. Will I have a chance to answer whatever you're going to say?
Council Chair.
Yeah, if it's directed to your comments, Ms. Stacy, I will give you a minute to answer.
Thank you. Okay. My last question I came here to ask was about Muspertolino. If you guys are going to revisit that. I know the comment was made that like not many people cared. I don't know who said it, but you know, a citizen whipped up a petition, and within 2 days, it got 300 or so signatures. I haven't checked it lately, but I know within the first 2 days, 300 people, 300 constituents voiced their opinion that they want this track open. I know I've talked to a couple of you guys, y'all have said it publicly, but I don't see anything being done. I mean, this has been going on how many meetings now that we're talking about this? And, you know, COVID's still happening. People can't exercise there. People can't walk. We want to use that track. We want to use, you know, the one with the good padding or the good surface. The residents want to use that track. We're still very interested, and nothing's being done. So I'm just curious if, you know, if you could tell me, or if anybody can say, are y'all revisiting it, or are y'all mind's made up that that's just that. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stacy. And Attorney?
If you don't mind, Council Chairman, I'd like to jump in here for a minute on the issue of executive session. In the parish, the executive sessions are at the very front of the of the parish council meeting. And they're there for a reason, because in some executive sessions you come out, the body will come out and take an action, because you can't vote in the back on anything. You have to publicly vote on it. If we were to move the comment period to before your executive session, then you would never be able to take an action after coming out of executive session, because you would have prohibited citizens from having the ability to comment on it. That is why you don't move citizen comment period to before an executive session.
Thank you, sir.
You would be in violation of the open meetings law if we were to come out of, if you were to move it that way and we were to come out of executive session and want to take action at that point. You would then be delayed and have to wait until the next council meeting to take whatever action was necessary. So it would strongly be the city attorney's recommendation that you either move executive sessions all the way to the very beginning of the meeting, or you leave them where they are.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Brennan.
Thank you. In response to Mr. Brown and the cell phone, that's fine. I'm not saying I should have been contacted, text, or anything like that. And I understand that we sometimes move things up in the agenda, whether it's a proclamation or whatever the examples were given. My point for this is, again, I think if we would have moved the public comments, it may have given, or it may not have given, somebody an opportunity thinking they were going to be able to speak at a certain point. That's all the point I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to be argumentative. And again, I'm not trying to take it that way. I think the mayor's comment, I agree with that. If we would do something and change something, then we kind of sometimes get beat up because there was no transparency. And again, if somebody all of a sudden at 2 o'clock said, I want to address the council, and found out the meeting was over and it got moved and people had to speak at whatever the time is, somebody may have missed an opportunity and not been happy about that. So if this is something we need to revisit as a council in the future, I think that's fine. But again, I think for today, it wasn't something that we could do. And again, if people had to wait, I apologize. We were taking care of business of the city. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Ms. Stacy, you any comments from that?
Well,
I got
yeah.
Gregory.
Okay, John, let Stacy so she can.
Well, no, I can go. Please let the
I'm answering one of her questions.
Okay, Councilman Brannigan, you have the floor.
Okay, on the Musperlino track situation, the administration and myself have looked at different things. I gave some ideas on how we should open it up to the public. I am listening to the people that elected me 3 years ago, and the administration and recreation are also looking at some ideas. So I can guarantee you that it's not being swept under the rug, and it will be addressed.
Thank you, Councilman. Ms. Stacy?
Fantastic news, Councilman Brannigan. Thank you for that. The only just what I'd like to just close with, I guess, is just to reiterate, this is done at meetings all the time with the public comment period in regards to executive session. And, saying that somebody, well, maybe they were going to estimate, okay, I think the meeting's going to last this long, so I'll try to come back. And this is when I think the public comment period would be. And, that's what Mr. Brennan and some of the others were saying. And then they might miss it. Nobody can ever estimate, for one, how long a council meeting is going to be. I think we all agree on that. We'll look at a very short agenda and we're like, oh, that's going to be over in an hour. And then 3 hours later, we're still here. And then you can't estimate an executive session because literally they've gone from 10 minutes to over 2 hours. So realistically, nobody can really just estimate when they should come back. But I am going to look into, Mr. Rapier, I want to clarify what you said, because I am going to look into this. You said it would be illegal to have a public comment period prior to the executive session and then have another one at the end of the meeting. So I am going to look into that.
No, Ms. Alessandro, that's
That's what I recommended you guys consider.
That's not what I said.
Attorneys, hold on a second. Thank you, Miss Stacy.
Thank you.
Okay. So, attorney, is there something you wanna clear up?
No, sir. I said what I said, but I didn't say what Ms. Alessandro said. I said.
Okay. And to end this comment, Ms. Stacy, I just want to say again, the time frame that I received the text, the time as the council president, I made the determination at 10:45. I had not had an opportunity to speak with the council members because it's a council meeting. And I just thought that would have been unfair to try to change something, not even going into the legality of it. And I will always err on the side that does not put us in a position of doing something wrong and discussing it before we putting it in. So we have 2 weeks to look into it. So I'm just going to say that is why it was done. That is what I recommended, and I appreciate the support. Mr. Campo.
Mr. Greg Taft.
Mr. Taft, you have the floor.
This is Greg Taft on West Loyola Drive in Kenner. I just want to address the executive session issue that seems to be a big problem today. I remember a few years back, and I haven't attended council meetings as long as everybody else has, but I remember every council meeting that had an executive session, we had to sit in that council chamber and wait till y'all finish the session and return to the chamber. And I guess what I find as interesting is that all of a sudden, it's a big deal that we have a general session and then we get to speak after, when that has been the way, at least for 3 years, because I think I've been going to council meeting 3 years, maybe 4. That's how y'all been doing it. And I would not think that we would be changing rules just because we're doing it by Zoom, that we were doing when we were actually attending the meetings in the chamber. So I just find it interesting that now all of a sudden it's a big problem because it's on Zoom as opposed to at a regular meeting. But anyway, the other thing I want to bring up is that I just want all the employees of Kenner to know that a lot of us appreciate what they're doing. A lot of the good things have been happening, and we see some cleanup going around. We see things going on that's going in the right direction. And I just want to thank all the employees and the administration for all that they've been doing during a pandemic to try to hold the city together and to make good things happen. And when bad things happen, we've been able to deal with them in a very positive and a meaningful way. And I just want to thank everyone. And that's really all that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taft. And just to I guess, end this conversation, the mayor has been on the council before many years. And in my tenure on the council, I never remember that happening. So that's all I have to go on, not prior to me. I could be wrong, but I never remember that happening. So that was my position and mostly of my recommendation. So thank you, Mr. Taft. Mr. Campo.
I see no other hands.
Thank you, Mr. Campo. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion by Councilman Brannigan, second by me. Adjourn. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.